And we back. So there we go, that's our case, cooler and CPU, RAM, day 2. Now guys, in case you don't know what are these parts and you haven't seen the unboxing yet, you can see it on my channel. So adds drafts, and we're gonna just proceed to install them now first. I'm gonna try to install the memory in the case. Now always make sure to ground yourself. I have a metal point on the radiator to do that. Okay, and just gonna put the modules one by one. And there we are. We have 3 modules installed already. I'm gonna take the last one. The top part in first. And then just clip in. Okay, got some dust inside, so my trustworthy Toyota or Toyota, whatever you call it, air blower. Okay, so next, the CPU installation. Okay guys, so hopefully you can see it now. You open this latch first. We can remove this thingy. Let's see, to remove. Don't want to break anything before I even start using it. There we go. Just comes off. Okay. Right, so the CPU. Okay, so to install it, what you guys can do is there's 2 kind of cutouts. There's on one side, on the other side, actually, sorry, this. Okay, yeah, there's 2, 1, 2. Also, what you have on most motherboards, let's see if this one does, your CPU has a little gold kind of triangle, and on the motherboard the triangle is represented over there with a little dot. Not sure if you guys can see it, but I usually position them according to these cutouts on the side. So see, you just drop it in, do nothing to that, then you close it down, leave the latch open, okay, push it in. It'll make some noise, don't worry about it. If you put the CPU properly and you didn't do any crazy things, it should be just fine. So that's your CPU installed. Next, we're gonna go with the fan installation. Okay guys, and we are back. Now, these are all the tools that we are going to need to install this cooler. Now, I'm just gonna open the Intel set first. So there's your Intel set over here. Okay, so how does that work? I'm just going to show you actually guys on the manual. You have the back plate, hold on, that looks like so, which we have over here. Okay, now it's clearly marked A, B and C. What that means is, for our installation, our purposes, 1155 or 1156 is B, so middle slot. Now to place it on the motherboard, we'll just put some dust on it, silly me, so clean it off. The way you're placing it on the motherboard, there's a good example of that. See these triangle kind of shapes on the sides? That's how it goes. So it goes rubbery side up. Make sure you don't go metal side up. Okay, so why don't we just do that? Wow, this case is heavy, guys. I I don't know what weight is it going to be like when we put everything together. Okay, so we're just gonna go according to the manual. There we go. For 1155, that has to be removed. Now, if you guys not sure, always refer to the manual. That's exactly what it says for LGA 1366 and 1156, 1155. You have to remove that, okay? So I just did that. Now, all this cabling mess, just gonna try to put that away. Okay, so when you're putting that on, so you have 1, 2, and 3 kind of, I don't know if you can call it bolts, but you make sure that the 2 bottom ones align with the ones on the bracket. Okay, I'll just leave it hanging there. In this bag we have all the nuts and bolts that we're going to need. Okay, we have 4 of those which we're gonna use. So just like in the manual, we're gonna slot them in the B slots like so, and just push it in so they can't rotate. Done. But I just decided for the fun of it, try installing it into the case. Okay, so that's them protruding there through the motherboard. Okay, they're out. Now next we're going to be installing these brackets. Now before you install them, let's see if I can show you. Oh, sorry. Now before you install them, make sure how you want to position the cooler. See, that's how they're going to be installed, and that's how the cooler gonna be positioned. So if you want the cooler to go that way, okay, which is what I want, as you see on the bottom of the cooler, that's where the mounting points are, top and bottom, okay, which means that we have to install them like so. So first, I'm gonna go and hold from the back. Gonna put the spacers on. Okay. Now when that is done, I'm gonna hold 2 of these protruding bolts from the other side and position them like so. Next, you're gonna use these things there and just secure the bracket. Okay, and the same procedure here. If the motherboard starts making noises, probably it's too much. Okay guys, and we're back. So this is your thermal compound bag and all the accessories that comes along with it. Okay, so briefly, you have different types of cables with the different types of resistors for different speeds. Okay, you have the rubber thingies there should you decide to mount one of the fans on the motherboard, which I should have done. But anyway, we're gonna go over the top with this, and you have a nice metal Noctua badge. It's actually heavy, proper metal badge. Right, so before we install, I'm gonna remove the middle cooler, because if I'm not mistaken, that's where I'm gonna need the access. So there you go. We have now space so we can use this supplied screwdriver. Now we're gonna put some thermal paste. I have noticed that, as some people on the internet say, if you just put a little pea-size dot on the on the CPU, that's going to be enough. We're going to test that later. if that doesn't work, we can simply use the rubbing alcohol or whatever you call it, clean it all off and do it again. Okay, first things first, which way is my fan rotating? So according to the arrows on the bottom, everything goes that way. So it means it has to sit like so, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So there we are back. Now this thing is removed now from the bottom. Make sure you do so. And let's try to secure it. Now before you do, just make sure that the arrows are pointing right. So in my case, the airflow is going from this fan away through the cooler. So that's exactly how I wanted it to be. So we just drop it simply like that. And secure it. Now, according to the manual and the way it should be done, you tighten the screws until they stop. Now, all that's left is the installation of this particular fan. Again, the airflow is, as the arrows say, that way. So that's how we're gonna place it. And we're done. So now we're just gonna secure it like so. And that's it. Now, the reason I have lowered it somewhat is obviously not to protrude to the top of the case, but also so it would take the airflow from the bottom and drive it through the RAM modules. Now, for the very same reason about the case, maybe I'm just gonna reposition this fan. Now, very important bit, to me anyway, is can we close the case down? Okay, so simply gonna drop it like so, slide it, and it's done. Voila. Now, what's the clearance, you might ask? Let's see. I'd say about 0.5 centimeter. And we're back, guys. So the case, well, I should say the cabling is now finished. Now, very handy to have something where you can put your case on so it could rotate, as you see here. Now, camera's on autofocus, so I hope you're not going to have any issues there. So there you go. All the cables for the hard drive routed through the back. Same for the power. Now, the only cables, you can't probably see it, but on the bottom of the Noctua coolers there are cables there. It's a bit of a bummer, but oh well, what can you do? Cables here left as they are. That's the USB 3.0. Some cables hanging from the top, they go straight there and they just are tied up there. Okay, so I'm going to rotate it quickly to the other side. As you see, not only shapes your body, but it helps to build PCs. So there you go, that's the hard drive, sorry guys, solid state drive cable. That's a 24 pin motherboard cable, your CPU cable, hard drive power cable, USB 3.0. That's for your back fan. Front fan is connected through... How did I connect the front fan, guys? Okay guys, found it. It actually goes to the top of the motherboard. So it's just tied up there. Now just give me 1 second, I'm going to lower the whole thing. And we're back again. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a little support thingy for CPU cooler. Now it's not great, to be honest, because the way the Noctua cooler is, it's kind of focusing on pushing the fan up. So it's not an ideal scenario. However, mind you, it's still better than nothing. See, when I'm doing this, the whole case moves, not just the cooler up and down, so it's a little bit of help there. For your memory modules, I hope you guys can see there, you have, well, first of all, you have a crooked fan. Okay, so you have about 0.5 centimeter there. between the fan, well, a bit maybe less between the fan and the memory modules. Have a little bit of gap there, maybe 2.5 centimeters, 3 maybe, about an inch. Okay, and back to this side. So everything is pretty much straightforward. I didn't install any 3.5-inch drives or anything like that. And that pretty much sums it up, guys. So next we're gonna boot up the PC and see how it goes. I've decided to do a quick power draw test for the IvyBridge platform. So there we go. This is the Genie power draw meter. We're gonna start up PC and see how it goes. So there we go. 3, 2, 1. Now remember, there's no GPU installed in this system, so it runs off the CPU graphics as well, hence the lower number. And that's it, that was the peak, 75 watts. Now I'm going to do a quick benchmark as well. And we're back. So the power draw on average is 50 watt on idle. There's some details of the CPU and RAM. So we have 3570K stock frequency, 16 gigabyte of RAM, and we don't have any additional graphics card or anything like that. So benchmark, let's see what power draw will look like here. As we see, about 96 watt peak, 99, 100. So there we go, guys. I'm just under 100. I couldn't reach more than 100. I was at 101 watt. Maybe there's better stress test for the CPU and GPU combined in the whole system, but for the moment it was 101 watt. So yeah, and I'm gonna skip to the end and show you the overall performance of this system to those who are interested. Now there, guys, we're back, and this is the performance for the system. So the complete result is 2768, CPU mark 18374, 2D graphics 581, 3D 566, memory mark 4387, and disk mark 2682. So that's it. Maximum once again was about 101 watt. And there we are, guys, back again. Now I just wanted to show you how does the whole setup looks in the darkness, more or less. I'm just using the energy saver bulb, so it should show up pretty nicely. Now, as you see in the background, I have ASUS ROG theme on Windows, which is quite nice. The whole setup is complemented by a little Kingston memory card reader, and that's how inside looks like. I'm gonna also try to update the video that you can see here with some maybe pictures, if I can take some in complete darkness. And for now I'm out, and I'm gonna sum everything up tomorrow. Hi guys, now we're back. Just to sum up this build briefly, what I liked and what I didn't like about the build maybe. Now we'll start with the case. So case was really just as I expected, if not better. I'm really happy with it. It looks very solid. It is solid case. It was very easy to do all the cable management, and it's a very small case. It's, as you see, the monitor is 27-inch ASUS monitor. You have an unboxing of that on my channel as well. So compared to a monitor, it's nearly the same height. Power supply unit, very nice. It actually operates fanless if the PSU load is below 20%. I'll show you there in a sec. So there you go, guys. The benchmark is running. The power usage at the moment is around 80 to 90 watts. If you look at the power supply fan, it's a fanless operation. Fan is not rotating at all, and once again, power usage is just over 80 watts. No fan rotation whatsoever. And we're back. So yeah, as you see, there's no fan rotation at all, especially when there's no GPU installed and when you're not running any CPU or GPU demanding programs. So most of the time when you're browsing or just working with PC, the power supply won't be operational, as in fan won't be operational. Next small little thing, there is air penetrator fan on the back that I installed. It's just an ordinary fan, guys, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's quiet, but nothing extraordinary. What else? The front fan on the case doesn't really like this motherboard, or motherboard doesn't like the fan, because I keep setting and resetting profiles and windows on the fan expert to make it properly work. But I've heard about that before from the last generation ASUS Gene product, was nearly the same. So I think it's the motherboard thing that needs to be sorted out, probably the software. Other than that, motherboard is great. I didn't overclock it yet, so I don't know how will it behave during overclocking. The audio quality is fine. The performance is good. There's no noises coming from the CPU, so the audio separation from all the circuit board seems to be working okay. CPU performance is outstanding. I had a 2500K before, and it's definitely faster. It's consuming much less electricity as well at the same time, so that's always a win. Memory RAM is just a RAM. I mean, I never overclock it, and it's just a standard XMP profile Kingston Grey RAM, so nothing special there. SSD, Kingston SSD performs, actually I don't see any difference from the older version, the Intel 320 series, nothing at all. But at the same time, I haven't been working with the, copying and pasting files and doing archives and things like that, so I don't know, maybe it is a little bit faster. The fan, the CPU cooler, which is Noctua and HD14, is just like it was before. I had one on the 2500K. It does cool it much more than IvyBridge now. I did notice that. So when this CPU is not overclocked, it runs way cooler than the IvyBridge. I mean, IvyBridge was running at about 40 degrees in the same scenario where I was encoding the video, for instance, where this is running at about 33, maybe 34, and if I increase the fan and the airflow, it'll run even cooler, about 32, 33. So yeah, guys, overall I'm very happy about this build. It went just as I expected, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was of some help to you guys. And if you liked the video, as always, click the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. And thanks for watching. Have a nice day.